We're so excited that you've joined us for today's live stream presented by RVTravel.com. Today's program will begin shortly. While we allow some time for others to join, we want to take care of a few housekeeping items. Everything presented in this live stream is true to the very best of our knowledge and experience, but we are human. Occasionally, we might be wrong. We don't want you spending thousands of dollars simply because we said something was good or fixing something according to what we suggested. Do your research, check your owner's manual, and seek assistance from your vetted and trustworthy certified RV technician.
So during our live stream, it's only going to get better if you participate. We'd love to hear from YOU. So while you're tuning into the show, please let us know what kind of rig you have, where you currently reside, if you're a part-timer, if you're a full-timer, and most importantly, what technical questions can we help you with? Feel free to submit your questions throughout the show. You can even start that right now.
During today's live stream, we may show you what we like to call cool tools. These are tools and gadgets that we actually use and we believe will be helpful to you. If you are interested in learning more about these products, please see the YouTube description box for more information.
During today's live stream, we will be doing a giveaway. To be included in the drawing, be sure to include a hashtag on the screen in your comments during the live stream. So let's get started.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Talking RV Tech. My name is Dave Solberg, your co-host with Dustin, who is out in California RV Specialists. Make sure I say that right every single time. I am out in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania this week. We are going to start the Pennsylvania RV Super Show tomorrow. It's a 4-day show this year. They've been doing it 3 days in the past. And we have over 1,000 rigs that are being positioned. I was hoping to be able to do this live from there, but the chaos is still going. So I am back at the hotel room with this wonderful lighting and this little halo effect behind me back here. So that... no reference whatsoever because I'm Lutheran, and that just means we need to know how to make a hot dish, tater tot casserole. So anyway, we have Chuck's going to be joining us here in a little bit. He is running a little behind. Ashley is doing the stuff from behind, and I see we've got people that have started on here. David Rude, say, let's go. Hi from Vorsure. Where is Vorsure at? Do you know, Dustin?
No, I don't.
If you did know that, then you would for sure know
where I was going to say
for sure is.
I was going to say for sure.
I am not for sure. Okay, cool, Dave. And then we got Michael.
He's German. He's a for sure.
How do you test if the thermistor on the back fins of the Norcold refrigerator is working? Mike from PA. No, now in Florida for the winter. You lucky guy, you. So, Dustin, go ahead and I've got a video on this, but I'll let you handle this one.
So basically go on Norcold's website, look up that particular model for the thermostat, for the thermistor. What you usually do is we'll go ahead and pull them off and put them in like a cup of ice and test the ohms on them. Sometimes, if you're just trying to see if it's bad, or if you're trying to bypass it by unplugging it to get it to go into like a cycle mode to see how cold it's going to get, you could do that as well. But each one of those are at a different reading, so I wouldn't know offhand to tell you without looking them up what the numbers are supposed to be.
Yeah, and first of all, the thermistor, just to kind of give a description of that is actually the temperature sensor that's telling the module board that turn on, turn off, and it's usually on the fins inside. When you open the door, you got a series of the fins in there, and it can be raised and lowered, and that's going to affect your temperature too, because hot air rises, and if that thing is encased in frost, that's going to give you a false sense of a reading. But and
he's talking about a Norcold, so it's going to be the one on the light or close to it on the top.
Yep. So the other thing is too, is that almost all of the service manuals that come with it have that listing of the ohm reading. And what they want you to do is they want you to take it off, unhook it, put it in a cup of ice water, like you said. So that simulates getting it to 32 degrees.
Yeah.
And then they have, you need to make sure what that temperature is. And then they have a sliding scale that says, here are the ohms of it. A real quick test, if you don't want to go through all that, just to see if that thing's working, is run it on LP and on electric, and just see if you see a difference, in that. And if it's the same on both, then it's not the thermistor.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, if it's the same on both, then it could be the thermistor. If it's different on one versus the other, then it's not the thermistor. It's something else in that system. So, and you can do that with just a regular, inexpensive ohm meter.
Yeah. Mike, what's going on with the refrigerator?
Yeah, let us know.
Why are you testing it? What led you to think that the thermistor is bad on it? It's a 1200 LRIM. Yeah.
Okay.
4-door Norcold.
Okay.
So there's several recalls that have been out on those, depending on what year it is. There's prior versions. There's that control board box with the magnet. We always have to reset if the voltage goes low. I don't know if he's responded back with anything yet. He
just replaced his because it was 50 degrees.
Okay.
And now it's working. So, normally I don't like to just swap parts out.
Yeah.
That one's a cheaper one, I guess, so that's easier to
probably
do.
Had that short little one that's inside.
Mm-hmm. Just unplug.
Some of them are hardwired where you can't do that. You have to cut them off or pull them through, or even pull the refrigerator off to get them in and out. And
okay,
but that's good that it's working. Those typically don't go bad.
Yep.
I'm thinking, connection issue from condensation, corrosion. Yep. Maybe that was something that led to it. Even check the PC board. If it acts back up, check the connection on the PC board, make sure that that's not.
Yeah. And just make sure it's not frosting over, because those will frost on those fins. And if you got it down to the lower setting on that, and you got some frost on that, it's gonna think it's cold, and it's gonna go up into the 50 degrees. Eventually, the frost will go away, but again, do it on both modes, and normally that'll happen. So, did we talk about the mug?
No, not yet.
Okay, did you get your mug with you?
Yep. So our hashtag today is going to be mug.
Yep.
And then make sure you get your hashtags in, hashtag mug.
Okay.
Oh, yep. There's the girls with the mugs.
Girls with the mugs. So we got Bill Byerly's here. David Rood is from Springville, Utah, and they build overland trailers. So welcome, cool. David.
Yep.
And we got Sandy that's got her mug. So Michael said, just lost my Wi-Fi connection, so did not hear the last minute of your reply. Sorry.
Oh, no problem.
If you want to talk to him about,
No.
Ashley and I are playing ping pong again with the lower thirds. So basically what we were saying is that, just make sure there's no frost on that. If it starts doing it again, try it on the electric side as well as a propane or whatever you're using, vice versa, and just see if it makes a difference. And, my thought, and I think Dustin kind of started it saying that those very seldom go bad. So it might be something you did that, loose connection, he said, could have been frost on there temporarily. And, if it does it again, then, you got to start doing the steps for diagnostic in a different direction. So we got, there's Dave Snoopy's here with us. All right. And I think Snoopy, did you get any further with your solar panels? I think you had Go Power. We were talking about doing the MPPT 60 amp, I believe that. And Dave says, no questions yet. We've had a couple questions, Dave. We were talking about the refrigerator, the thermistor on a refrigerator. And so Keith, or KD Heath says, who said I'm glad it can make the show? Oh, they were this show. I'm thinking, so we were just talking beforehand. I'm out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I'm in a hotel room, and with horrible lighting. I got the lamps turned sideways, even trying to get lights here. But we start tomorrow with the Pennsylvania Super Show. We have over 1,000 rigs that are covering 1 million square feet. And it is huge. I walked it today, and they've opened up the back building, and we've got like 8 dealers, and I think just about every product. And the nice thing about this is that we have got about a 50-50 mix of trailers and motorized. You know, a lot of shows you see 75% trailers.
Yeah.
And so, you know, they're really
They
expecting.
can afford the motorhomes right now.
That's it. Everything. Well, they can't get any trailers, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, okay. So Dave says, nah, just thinking about it on his solar panels. This is well, that's true. I don't remember what part of the country you're in, but you know where I'm at, we do not put solar panels on in the middle of winter. We don't do anything in the middle of the winter. So Timothy here says, thanks for the advice about the toilet install. Was quick and easy. So far, no leaks. Your car talk. You're the car talk of RVs. You want to be click or you want to be clack? You're probably too young to remember that.
I've seen a couple of them, but it's been a while.
Okay,
That always brings that up, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, no,
it's like me talking to Zach about the Three Stooges or something. He
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't know.
Click and Clack was the radio show on car repairs. It was back in the day when. And I don't even remember what channel they were on, but they were syndicated around the country, and I think they're the first ones that started the thing. If it sounds like this, then it's the alternator. They had a sound for everything. I think it was National Public Radio. Tim, yep, that's right. All right, NPR. All right. So Katie Leith says, I can never think of the questions when we're on live. I'll just have to listen. We'll write them down then next week and bring them with you in there. So let's see. We got a couple. I think I had some. Oh, I was going to tell you Sumo Springs. You had talked to the president of Sumo Springs, and I did a little bit of research on that because, you know, I was thinking about the comment that they're on all these different RVs that are in there now. And I went to Winnebago and I contacted my guys out there. And what they were saying is that they've got a few of their models that are designed more for off-roads, like the National Park model, Vista, and the Solus. Those both have, and I think the Adventurer. But if you go through and you look at the different models in there, some of them are standard, like the National Park Foundation and the Solus National Park, because they are going to have a little more rougher ride going through there. And then the other ones, they're offered as an option.
Yeah.
And if you want to, I went through their videos today too, and I was pretty impressed with them because I wrote an article for CoachNet on the review of the Florida show, and they were down there. Give them a little explanation of what that Sumo Spring is and what it does.
So I'm going to foul up the whatever chemical it is. It's a special design foam.
It is it's a multicellular polyurethane.
Okay.
I had to look that up too and put it. It's like what?
Well, I mean, I try to, we try to keep stuff easy to discuss with people instead of getting too technical or whatever. I try to.
It's magic dust, moon dust.
Yeah, I try not to wheel and deal them with the words. And sorry, everybody, that's my dog Hitch in the background. We're at home today.
He needs some lubrication. Your Hitch needs some lubrication.
My Hitch is squeaking on my, and RV's hair floating around as well. So you might see her pop up in here. But basically, to break it down, to simplify it, they make those Sumo Springs. There's pretty much 3 different colors. There's a red. I mean, there's a blue. There's a yellow. There's a black. They're rated for different weight ratings. And so far, I mean, I did like you did. I watched all the videos. I listened to all the testings. In our first few applications, the first few that we installed, it was kind of like customers that we knew real well, like, hey, there's this product. We'll install it for you for free. We'll sell it to you at our cost. We want your feedback to know if it's something that we want to sell. And at the time, I sold some units that I had owned where I didn't have it where I could go and put it on it. So when we installed them to the coaches, we got direct feedback from people that were living in them full time and traveling all over, in our area. But it's basically like having a shock. So it takes replacement if it's in a truck or off-road vehicle of like a bump stop, but it's actually compressing and expanding. They're lifetime guaranteed. I really like the application for like the travel trailers and the fifth wheels. So anybody that's listening for a travel trailer or fifth wheel, they're fairly reasonable on price.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to go bad like a shock would go bad. They clamp to the head of the shackle plate. They just sandwich to the sides of it. And then as long as there's enough room in between the leaf spring shackle plate and the frame, it fits in there. And whether it's solid in there or if it's off a little bit, that's fine too. They make spacers, but it's absorbing the shock. So there's other owners' videos out there where they've put them on and weren't sure if they were going to work. And just the reply back and the feedback, how much more that improved the suspension and the shaking and the vibration in the coach.
Yep.
So I mean, I would sell them to anybody and not even worry. It's lifetime warranty.
Mm-hmm.
There's no maintenance. If they get dirty, rinse them off with a hose.
Yep.
And
I agree. And Carol put some on her. She's got I don't know what year it was. She bought a Newmar 39-foot on that F53 chassis, and it was an elephant on roller skates. She was all over the place with it. And she drove it from the East Coast to the West Coast, and she was just horrified. She was going to get rid of it. So we worked with her on several things, and she had a local guy put the sumo springs in. But one of the things that I always tell people is don't use those to mask some other problem. If weigh the coach, always go get your coach weighed, find out where you're at. If you can do it by individual wheel positions, that's the best. Because then you're going to find out that, hey, some of these units, I've seen them 1,500 pounds heavier on one side than the other because RV manufacturers design these RVs not for weight distribution, because if they did, everything would be in the center and we'd walk around the outside of it, right? But nobody'd buy it. So they buy it for they build it for floor plan, and you got this great big, 4-door refrigerator and the generators on that side and the big heavy furniture. And then we put all our heavy stuff over there because we want the light chairs over on the other side. So get it weighed. One of the things, if you can't get it by individual wheel position, that is usually only done by a weighing team. I know Escapees have some, FMCA has them at their rallies. The RV Safety and Education Foundation has teams going around the country. So if you can get that done, but otherwise, one of the things that I've always said is just use one of those infrared thermometers, and every day when you're traveling down the road, hit your hubs, your tires, your brake linings, and see where what's happening. And even in the motorized, and then if you see one side that's a lot hotter than the other side, that generally means you're carrying more weight. It's working harder.
We actually at the shop right now, I don't know, there's at least 3 units on the lot right now, Dave, that need axles. Mm-hmm. There's 2 of them that don't need axles, but I'm not going to say the brand name, but they're side by side in the lot, same year. The model number, they're built within 3 months of each other. The model number is, a foot longer than the other one. And when you look underneath, so it's fifth wheels we're talking about. When you look underneath the fifth wheel, we actually like, wow, that one's sitting kind of funny. One was a 4-leaf spring. The other one was a 6-leaf spring. Axle size difference. One was the higher rated. I think it was I remember if it was 75. The other one was a 6,000. And when we went to look at the weight on the coach, they almost weighed the exact same. And we're talking at least the production weight or whatever, 500 pounds. So, you really have to look at what you're buying, all the hidden things that we always talk about on the show.
Yep.
We just had an article go out today on RV Travel from somebody in our group. And again, another, I won't say the brand name, but they purchased a coach 3 months ago, never went underneath the bottom to look at the suspension. And they read other things that we talk about in posts, and they went underneath, and it's so rusted. It looks like it's 20 years old.
Yep.
So really pay attention to what if somebody's on here and they're going to go buy a new one or trade it in or whatever, really look at what you're getting.
Yeah. Well, I was surprised. I've got a friend of mine that has a I think it's a 2016. It's either 2016 or 2017. ICANN Renegade, which is the Super C, $1 million coach. And the bottom of that thing is so rusty. He was just appalled when we crawled underneath to fix a step, and he just looked at it and he goes, what's going on here? So he's having that whole thing sandblasted, and it's surface rust in most of the cases, but it rusts in his bay where he puts it in storage, and he is just not happy at all with that.
This guy said his looked like the Titanic, and it really did. I mean, it was bad. all the slide out mechanisms and stuff, everything's just rusted and held back.
So Bill says, thanks for the info tracing HDMI leads on my 2019 Sightseer a couple weeks back. Have the exterior TV working with his dish receiver. So I think, he's going with the wireless. Now, Pace International makes a wireless transmitter.
HDMI transmitter,
Yep. We did a video on that for RV Repair Club, and we were out. Oh, man, I think we were out about 500 feet.
Oh, it worked that far?
Yeah, we just kept going back and back and back to see how far we could, get it to work, and it was pretty amazing, because I remember, I've been in video production since I was at Winnebago, since 91, maybe even a little bit before that, and we always were trying to figure out a way when you're shooting inside the RV. Back in those days, you had the tube cameras and the light. You had to literally burn the material almost to get enough light in those things. So there wasn't room for people, and the director couldn't see what was being shot, because you had to have all these cables, and back then the tube TVs, and we were always thinking, man, it'd be so nice to get one of those wireless transmitters, and back then they were like $8,000, and so this one's
$200 I think is that Pace.
Yeah,
it's pretty cheap.
That's a good one.
So if anybody wants to know, I can give you, today was kind of a mishap on both of us. We didn't know if we were going to both make it here or not. Like Dave said, he's at a hotel room, and I ended up catching a cold, so I'm feeling better now. I'm back.
How long did it take you to get it? To catch it? I ran and ran and ran. And
it tackled me.
I finally got it.
It tackled me. It's still got its claws in my back, but
yes. So we don't have any questions on here, but I did come across another kind of a cool item that you might want to look up. Lippert has introduced a temperature sensor for inside temperature that goes through their one control, and then they also have an LP level check, and it's just a small little kind of a diamond shaped transmitter that you hang inside your refrigerator, or you could hang it inside your RV. They've designed it for the refrigerator, so that if the fridge quits, you don't ruin your food when you're out sightseeing. And then it goes through the what they call theirs one control. Is that right?
Yeah.
So it just goes through there.
You're saying you put it in the refrigerator?
Yep.
Okay, so it's a temperature probe for the refrigerator.
Yep. And then they have one for the LP.
How does the LP one work?
It's a magnet that goes on the bottom of the tank, and then it uses
some kind of resistance or something through the magnetic portion of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like what is it? It's not somebody can help me with that. What do you do when you check for babies? What is that? What is that called? When you take that thing and ultrasound.
Ultrasound. Okay.
Man,
I was going in a whole different way.
Well, you had me on the.
Ashley's back here dying.
You had me on the Titanic, and I'm thinking. I mean, you bring up the Titanic, and I'm thinking they use sonar. When they're doing that, so I couldn't get it out of there. So anyway, we got Britt's back again. Hey, Britt, how you doing?
Brett.
Sounds good. So anyway, the temperature one is kind of neat, but I have not seen very many LP. Have you ever seen the Mosaica one? That is, I see it at the show here. I bought one at Ace Hardware. It's kind of the green version. I have not had good luck with that at all. We've
it's like there's certain things that because we have a storefront, so there's certain things that we're like, nope, I'm not putting that in for you. It's garbage, or no,
Yep.
you don't want to buy that. Or even
Yep.
today, for example, Dave, I had a guy come in yesterday with a 2003 Dutch Star. Really nice guy, husband and wife, needs a roof. Roof's shot rotted. I had to have him come back down today because we got 7-8 days of rain coming in a row.
Mm.
I'm not able to stick it inside. And he's like, yeah, go ahead and do the roof, you know. And I'm like, it's way worse than what we thought. So I didn't turn him away, but I basically said, hey, do you really want to reinvest this kind of money into a coach that's 20 years old? Battery,
What kind was it?
a Newmar Dutch Star,
What year?
2003.
What's your estimate for the roof?
So his roof is rotted so bad, and it's the old TPO with the felt line backing. So it's torn off. The roof is dry rotted completely. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's a styrofoam roof, like, you know, say like Winnebago would make, or like Fleetwood. It seems to be, you know, older, either OSB or plywood underneath. It's still kind of somewhat there, but it's not walkable at all right now. You know, you'd fall right through it.
Yep.
So it's like, we don't know what we're going to get into. He's let it leak for so long. They've owned it since 2006. It's so bad that the AC is buckling in on it. You know, I mean, he's had multiple satellites on it over the years.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's not the styrofoam core like that. So it's going to be bare insulation. I don't know if it's a combination of wood and aluminum in the framework. But
So inside is a loose fill?
Yeah, it's a loose fill.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's, you know, hey, my air conditioning's not blowing strong, not from temperature, but the pressure. So, I mean, it's just like a can of worms. So I basically told him, I said, hey, it could be as expensive as 15,000. It could go up as high as 20. It's also got a wrapped radius, kind of like that roof you had, but it's a real wide radius. It's almost a 10-inch, and it's got the seam that runs all the way down the side. So it's 20 years old. That stuff's all cracking and getting brittle, and he picked it up today. He's going to think about it, bring it back. But, you know, most of your shops that you go to are your dealerships. If you guys are going in there to, you know, rebuild something or remodel something or put stuff into these coaches, look at the whole picture.
Yeah.
You know,
Especially a Dutch Star.
Yeah, I didn't want to take this man's money and, you know, hey, we'll do it for this, and get into it and it be, you know, 25,000. The guy needed batteries and tires and awnings and slide out sills and you name it. So it's like, you know, when you go to the shops, find a good shop, be careful.
Yeah.
You know.
We had a 2006, I believe it was, Jayco, that somebody that in the production crew knew this guy, and we're always looking for content to work on. And so he said, well, I got a roof leak in mind, and you guys want to take a look at it? And we thought, yeah, well, you know, bring it down. So he drug it down, and I went over and picked it up at the gas station we met at, and I opened up the door, inside the door. I looked up, and it's right away. You could see, you know, all the paneling was all kind of peeling and or warping, you know, and it was hung low. And I went on the backside and I looked up on the top, and you could just see this big ring of rusty water had been sitting there. And I said, you know, I would say you've got a big problem here. So we took it back and we pulled it off. And I've got pictures of it. We'll probably write an article about it here. And he never tightened the spring-loaded bolts on the unit. And in his defense, he'd only
the
had
air conditioner itself.
Yeah, he'd only had it a couple years, and he hadn't really used it much. So I don't think the total damage was him until he started seeing it. And then we took that air conditioner off, and the entire roof was just like wet newspaper, and it was rotted. And so I called Jayco and I said, you know, the easiest thing, the least amount of labor would be to have you build a new roof. Or that's what they said. That's $8,000 on a 26-foot travel trailer. And that is in Elkhart. That's not getting it to us. And so we kind of looked at it, and I said, you know, here's the deal. To get that new roof put on there, you're going to have to take all the cabinetry out. You're going to have to take all the walls that have any support in there. And, you know, then all of a sudden you're at how much labor, you know, at 130 to 170 an hour,
Yeah.
and your trailer's worth about $6,000. So he ended up parting it out. You
Yeah.
know,
Well,
if you got time to do it,
yeah,
yourself.
we do about 50 roofs a year, and most of them are through the insurance. So, and what I was telling this guy was, I said, hey, if you hit a tree branch and it scarred the roof material, and we knew it was going to be a couple sheets, and it was just peel it off and replace the sheets and replace the material and sew everything all up. I said, it's been leaking for years.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've encouraged him to go in and start taking stuff off. I said, all your skylights are brittle. I looked at, he's got 2 different air conditioners up there. The AC shrouds were cracked. They're going to need to be serviced. They're 20 years old. And I said, we want to test all that before we even touch anything. We want to make sure every light, everything works. And he was like, yeah, it all works. And I says, no, if it doesn't work, I need to know so that you don't come back in 6 months and say, well, it was working before you did the roof.
Exactly.
So, I mean, we went through the whole thing, ended up handshakes and hugs on the way out. He's going to go home and think about it. He doesn't want to go buy a new unit.
Yep.
His wife wants him to.
Usually it's the other way around. I want a new unit.
Yeah. He's like, no. But the wife wants him to. But
yep. So we got Mike says he's only 25 miles from York, where I'm only 25 miles. So Mike, if you're available this weekend, Thursday through Sunday, we've got the Pennsylvania show. Come on down. And the other nice thing about the show is that General RV has a ton of product there. They've got, the solar panel systems. They've got lithium batteries, AGM batteries, the chairs, all the stuff, so very seldom do you see a part store in a show these days. So that's
cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And then they got, of course, the regular vendors all up and down. And I'm sure there's somebody with the leaf guard gutter thing, because there's always one of those at an RV show. I never understand that, but there's and Cutco, there's there. We've got Britt says, what's the easiest?
You got to cut your meat when you go camping.
You gotta have a good set of knives.
The gutter guy's there because we hit the gutters from the roof
and pans. That's right. So Britt says, what's the easiest way to get an air bubble out from underneath the vinyl floor? Looking for a fix.
So most of the vinyl floors aren't glued down anymore unless it's on an older coach. If it's on a slide out and it's kind of stretched itself, you're going to have to, if there's any carpet in there in the way, any vents in the way, just kind of have to work it out or try to glue back down what you can. I've had a couple times where I've had to take almost like a needle. They make a kit that you can buy on Amazon that's like a hypodermic, like a injection needle. Put a little glue in it and glue it back down a little small if it's in a small area. That's the dog in the background.
Then the toy.
I took one toy away. He went and got another one. Ashley's pitching him treats in the background right now, but
maybe I should squeak something. I want some of those treats.
But you can try that, Brett. It depending on where it's at, I need to see a picture, but it's probably something that's you're stuck with, like a scar. It's going to be there.
Yep.
Unless you can work it out or glue it down.
Yeah. What I've done in vinyl floors, and we used to see them a lot more often when they were using particle board floors underneath. And so you would start to get some of the chemicals from the particle board that would react with the adhesive of the vinyl, and then
color.
And so we would go in and we would try to make a little score where there was a fake grout.
Yeah.
So they almost all have squares or pretend like they're tile kind of stuff. So you can go in right at that edge where that grout line is at and cut it, peel it back, and get a little bit of adhesive. But you got to make sure you get the right adhesive for whatever type of vinyl you're at. You've got, because some of that stuff, the chemicals will start to react with it, and then you've got a huge problem. But you're right, if it's a smaller one. I remember when I was on the line way back in 1983, that was the first job I had. And the gal that was putting vinyl decals on, she was doing a really good job, but every once in a while she'd have a little air bubble.
Had to go pop it.
Yep. And she would just go in and she would take, she used an X-Acto knife, and just the tip of that X-Acto knife, and just get a little one, and then take her squeegee, spatula
all the
thing and
air
just
out.
work all the air out around it, and then she would just dab it. It wasn't a silicone. There was almost like I would bet it was nail polish.
Oh yeah.
You
Like a
know,
clear or something.
yeah, that
Keep
she
water
would
from getting back behind it.
tap right.
Yeah.
Just put a little dab right on where that little thing's at, so no more water would get back in it.
Yeah.
And well, you couldn't tell it once you got down because the gloss was the same and
Yeah.
everything. So Britt, I would try those things.
Yeah.
And
I didn't think about telling them about cutting it like that, but yeah.
yeah,
We'll get
Mike
some
says
that are torn like that, or maybe it's stretched out or it got hot or something like that. And we'll cut patterns out and then find scraps of it underneath a drawer and a cabinet that we can cut out and use to repair it with too.
yeah.
So
So
it looks
Michael
like we
says
had,
he's in Florida. Oh, way to go.
so somebody brought up about a gas stop.
Yep.
That says that they're reading that they can fail. I haven't seen one that's failed. And we've sold quite a few of them and installed them and stuff. And so a similar product that's similar to that has been around for years, but it didn't stop the gas flow. They were basically the same design that had a meter on them.
Mhm.
Now those don't have a safety device like the gas stops do. So maybe they're referring to something that looks like a gas stop, but it's really not a gas stop.
Yep. Or, it could be that.
They look like a gas stop, but they're not.
Right. And, if you go to connect those POL connectors now, they have an excess flow valve that's inside of those. It's supposed to be a spring-loaded valve that will stop the gas flow if you have an excess leak.
Yeah, not a strobe leak, but
yeah, and it's, that is about an 80% protection. You still have 15 to 20% of the times when you can get a leak where the gas stop will do it. And I have gone through several of their demonstrations. Their engineer was at Tampa going through, literally had a thing set up with compressed air to simulate gas leaks and went through the whole thing. And, I'm wondering if what you're hearing, if they're failing, is that not the gas stop, but gas stopping from those excess flow valves and other things. And the problem with the excess flow valve in the trailer side of it is if you've got your DOT cylinders turned off and you go in and you turn that thing on real fast, that initial blast of LP coming through will push that excess flow valve and shut it off.
Yeah, that's why you got to pump them.
Yeah, and so but I've not heard that with the gas stop. And I'm pretty sure, because normally we have Mike Ray, who is with Gas Stop in the USA here, is watching these, because anytime we bring up Gas Stop, he emails me and says, "Hey, thanks for mentioning us." But if Mike's around, maybe too, you can chime in here or send me an email and we'll bring it up next week too. But I have never heard that they fail.
Yeah.
So.
And for the, they make those for both the motorhome application and travel trailer, fifth wheel. It's a device that, if you're not familiar with it, if you guys want to look it up, it is called Gas Stop. It goes on the cylinder tanks. And when I'm talking to like a younger family is what I usually go with, when I'm telling them, hey, you're doing the outside barbecue, you got dogs, you got kids, they're going to run and knock something over. If you have that, barbecue or grill outside, whether you tripped over it yourself or stumbled or a kid ran by, if that's connected to that quick connect and it snaps it off, and now you just got that propane blowing everywhere, that's what that gas stop is designed to do, is to shut it off. Or, on a motorhome side, if you're traveling or a travel trailer or fifth wheel, you're say you have a refrigerator and a slide, which is common nowadays. If that rubber hose, over moving it in and out over time, something snapped, something broke, something cracked, and you release all that propane in the coach, without that gas stop, there's nothing to stop that. Mm-hmm. So that's how I explain it to people. To, it's not like, oh, let's sell this and make a ton of money off it. You don't get that anyways, but it's another device. Sooner or later, I would imagine that all tanks will come out with something a little bit stronger than what they currently have.
Right.
Or the industry will start gradually getting to that point.
Yeah. But I do know that RVIA is looking at standards with the gas stop, that Mike has been in contact with some of them. I don't know how far he's gotten with them. But one of the things I do want to ask is, Marcia, you are saying that you bought a gas stop for your LP tanks, and there's two different versions. What's on a motorhome is an ASME tank,
Yeah.
and that is a horizontally permanently mounted tank. What is on a travel trailer or a fifth wheel or a grill is DOT cylinders,
Yeah.
and there's different gas stops for those. The same kind of technology, but there's
What's the
that's
other? Is it POL?
POL is the
Yeah,
connector that
the connector.
it's
Yeah,
got the large thing, and then
nut.
yeah, yeah, the plastic green thing that went on there. Okay, so we had what's the
The one that everybody over tightens.
yes, we got one from Les. It says, do you use or recommend Ultrabond tape for sealing roof seams? And I think he's referring to Eternabond. Is
There's a
there an
bunch of
Ultrabond?
different brands. Yeah.
Okay,
Who brought that picture up, Chuck or you?
not me.
It's got to be Chuck.
We have a gremlin. We have a gremlin sitting behind there. That's. I think he went to school with God's son. I'm pretty sure. So
The
well,
winning lottery numbers.
I knew Chuck was here because the RV Travel logo popped up. So
There he is.
he's creeping behind there somewhere. But
I see the thumbs up. Oh, he's gave me the lotto numbers from the back.
so what's your opinion of Eternabond?
So all the tapes are good. My only, I come from the repair shop side, right? So I'm looking out for my customers and the consumers, right? I don't want to put a product on the roof that's not going to be removable. It's basically we use that Eternabond tape all the time on slide outs because you have a sill that's wiping back and forth over the top of the roof. That sealant tape, no matter the brand, and they do make a couple different thicknesses, it's so thin. And it moves and flexes with the coach, but it's so thin. It's not as thick as if you were putting a sealant on a molding. Mm-hmm. So if you're overlaying a seam that doesn't have anything on it, there's vibration and stuff, and eventually it shrinks, it dries, it cracks, it peels. And again, there's different technical names for the material that's on there, TPO or rubber or ABS or whatever they say. They don't last forever. There's none of the RV sealants last forever either. That's why there's required maintenance.
Yep.
So I get really frustrated when I see people come out and they come in the store, I want to buy a roll like that, like Chuck showed, and they want to just start masking off the whole roof. Well, when you go to take that into your dealership and you try to trade that in or try to sell that private party, they're going to devalue the heck out of that because that stuff's not going to come off.
Yeah.
So the Eternabond, it's on there for eternity. Yep. Even if you took it off, you're going to have that residue.
Yeah. One thing I would not recommend is Flex Seal tape.
That too.
Now I did use in an emergency
or the spray.
Yep. Oh, the spray will start to deteriorate everything. It's fine if you want to put a screen door on the bottom of your boat, but I used some of that stuff in an emergency one time. I had a trailer when I ran that company, Easy Wash. We had a trailer where the roof literally ripped off, peeled, and you could see right through the top of it. And I stopped at a home improvement store, and the only thing I could find anywhere around was the Flex Steel stuff. And I thought, well, to get this thing home, we're gonna have to have a new roof anyway. And I put that on there, and we ended up having that thing set for I don't know how long it was, and that stuff turned. I mean, it wasn't a matter of 6 months, and the stuff just started cracking and peeling and turning. And the other difference too is that keep in mind that if you're going to use a tape on anything that's up in there, that tape, it does not make its way into the cracks and crevices of whatever.
Unless you slide back, it is a Eternabond tape. Yeah.
Okay.
And we use it for a bunch of other tricks too. Like I'll take it in between like sidewall moldings and stuff for the gutter molding and where it's joined together. I'll take it and I will put it in between the edges and curl it into like a J wrap, so that it prevents the sidewall dripping, in the awning area or whatever. So I've learned to do little cool tricks with it over the years. But to answer Les's question, we all at one time have bought a printer, is my analogy, right? It comes with a printer cartridge. the printers, we'll say the printer's $109. You go back to buy the ink and you go, whoa, the ink's $90,
Mhm.
The ink's almost as much, if not more, than the printer.
Yep.
When
And
they're,
neither one of those will seal a motorhome.
yeah, well, my analogy on it is,
Giving you a
my
hard
wife's laughing at me in the background, is they seal them at the factory. It's quick, it's fast, it's production. If they put so much on there, it's going to take forever for it to dry before they can ship it and check it. And so even when we seal something at our shop, we always have the owners come back within like 90 days so we can see how it's cured and flexed and moved and the coaches moved. So on everybody that's watching, some of you've used it before, Dicor, the Alpha Sealant.
Mm-hmm.
It's a maintenanceable product. When it gets hot, the oils in it bleed out, the dust and dirt adhere to it. It turns it black, it turns it brown.
Yep.
It's
And
shrinking it.
that's a
drying
really
it
good,
out.
that's a really good point, because some stuff's going to work better in different parts of the country.
In different parts of the country, yeah.
Where
And
you're
so,
at, you got extremes on this side where you got heat and dry, and on our side we've got
cold.
brutally cold and boring, or well,
But
eight months of winter.
so
Yeah.
it's different parts of the country, different elements.
Yep.
Keep it clean.
Yep.
Put UV treatments on as well as on the roofs and on. You can also put it. Somebody asked last week about putting it on the actual lap sealant. Yes, absolutely. Put that on there. It's not going to hurt anything.
Yep.
Seal it thicker.
Mhm.
The moldings all have screws every 6 inches in them. It's okay to add additional screws as you need to. Check all your moldings on your roof list to make sure that they didn't whack off the molding and not put a screw at the end of the molding.
Yep.
Thicken it up.
Yep.
And then
All
you'll
right.
never need that tape. Sorry.
Okay, we're gonna move on. So
Passionate about it,
Robert says that his gas stop will shut off when the generator starts up, and I have to go out and reset them. And this is on a travel trailer, so I guess I'm wondering what kind of
LP.
a generator he
LP.
must. Yeah, and okay,
Yeah.
so
It's because it's taking that initial pull.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And I wonder if there's a
Good to know.
setting for that. I guess maybe we should talk with Mike at Gas Stop and just see if there is some type of a, difference in pressure settings with some of those things. I don't know. I've not heard of that. We'll do some
Well, I'm
research.
wondering if when he goes through, like say he shut off the propane to the tanks, and then you're having to do the initial pump, basically the same thing, go to the burner on your stove and you're
Mhm.
priming the system. If he needs to run the generator as well, do the same kind of setup, prime the pump,
Yeah.
do it to the house, do it to the generator, and then just fire up the generator once to let it be,
Yeah.
primed up. And then
Maybe Robert, what you could do is if you could send a question in, give us a little more information about, what type of
Kind of
generator it
generator.
is, what you got for a travel trailer, the size of the tanks, 1 tank, 2 tanks, switchover valves, and then how the procedure that you're doing that. And then I'll get in touch with Mike Ray and just see what he recommends with Gas Stop. So Jeff says, and we got let's do should we do our drawing now? I would say I don't see any private things from Chuck here, but
everybody got in their
everybody got their
mug,
hashtag mug in it.
and this is the
So
mug.
I'll tell you what, we'll do one
Chuck
more
put in
question. We'll give you a chance to put hashtag mug in here. Just one more, because Jeff has one here that he has. Have either of you used 3M number 78 adhesive for bonding polystyrene to Luan? And 3M number 90 for adhering Phylon to Luan. I'm thinking of performing a small sidewall repair on a vintage 1996 Coachman Class C. So I have not gotten into, I've been at customer service when they put stuff in. I don't know what kind of adhesive Winnebago uses. I just know that you have to be careful that whatever adhesive you have will not
gas
eat at
up.
that Luan, gas up and eat up that Luan. How about you?
Yeah. So I've played with some of those in the past. You're buying it more, Jeff, for like probably in the tube versus where when we buy that kind of stuff, we're buying it in gallons. So just be careful with it. Maybe test something out, because like Dave's saying, if it's the adhesive to the styrofoam, when you're gluing the styrofoam to the Luan to the styrofoam, and then you're going to take another adhesive and glue the Luan back to the wood. Just make sure that there's no chemical reactions. Even though we don't see it, the vapors, could cause it to rebubble and blister. We use a product that's through AllRight, and it's allright.com, but I don't think they sell to a consumer unless you're spending $5,000 or more products. It's called a T440, and it's a red glue. You can spray it or you can roll it, and they have different numbers for different applications. But it's like what he's going to use, Dave. Mm-hmm. You can use it on the styrofoam walls. You can use it on the Luan. You can use it on the Phylon, and it's dry to the touch. So if you painted both surfaces, they're both dry to the physical hand touch. But once they make contact, they're there forever. I mean, it's weird stuff, but.
You know what we call that in the Midwest? You got a real bug tussle.
JB Weld?
No, when you put the two together and they can't come apart, you got a real bug tussle.
Do you like my finger analogy?
Yeah. All right, let's I think we got our time. It's time to do our
hashtag
mug. So okay. Ashley, if you'll spin the wheel for one last turn. I would like to buy a vowel. Oh, Dave, you almost had it. All right. Katie Leith has it. See, you don't even have to ask questions. Yeah. You can just see, like you say, you just sit there and listen, and you win a mug. So email to editor@rvtravel.com. Give us your address, and Chuck will send you the coffee mug. And congratulations. Thank you very much. Also, we have Anna Marie says, what kind of UV treatment should go on the roof? And this is a pretty common question. So I will let you go ahead. Since I don't have all my roof treatment stuff here, I can pull out of my hat.
Depending on what kind of roof it is, I would assume it's probably a TPO roof. There's a couple different products that we sell and use in the store all the time. I like a lot of the Thetford products that are made by Protectants, so they got bought out by Thetford. The rubber roof cleaner works really good. We use it to clean the roof material. We use it to clean the sealants. It can also help clean up some of the, we'll call it sun damage from the skylights, because the soap's really strong. Then once we wash the whole coach off and clean that solution off there, once the roof's dry, then we go back and use the same brand. That's a UV treatment, and it's not like a part one, part two. It's just literally rubber roof cleaner, rubber roof treatment. And I like to use a lot of the 303 products. So 303 is another really good brand. They also make RV washes. They make RV roof cleaners. They make RV waxes. They make a variety of stuff. But when you're up on that roof and I want you not to just treat that rubber material. Pay attention to cleaning those sealants as well as you can clean them, and apply that treatment to those too. That'll help preserve and protect them. And then if you do get 303 or any of the other, plastic protectant products, put that on your AC covers and your plumbing vents and your satellites and your on anything that's plastic, rubber, vinyl on that roof.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, just a little history on 303. I remember when it first kind of came into the industry. I was working at Winnebago, and we had back then the beige colored fiberglass Phylon sidewall material in 80.
Oh yeah,
what would it have been, 86, 87, and it would turn pink. Remember how that would start to fade, and it would get that pink tint. And 303 was a product that was actually started for the aerospace industry and the seals in spaceships, and keeping that rubber seals pliable in it, and that's where it started. And so we would go in and just do a good buffing down and bring that 303 in, and you'd never get the shine, you'd never get the beige back, but you would actually get it would come back to a brown versus a pink. And if you ever had one of those old speckle flake boats, remember the fiberglass boat that would have like a red glittery kind of base and then a clear coat, and then that would always just go bleh. fogged up. It actually did a pretty good job on those too. But that 303 is
Metallic
really good.
flake.
What's that?
Metallic flake.
Yes,
I
metallic
had a
flake.
Chevelle I did one time like that. 67 Chevelle Malibu. I painted it black with red flames.
I bet you wish
And
you
we
still had
put-
that.
Oh, I do. And we painted we threw metallic flake over the whole car. We've messed up on the flames because the flames was going to be sparkly.
Hmm.
But we ended up painting the whole car black. And it looked like one of those boats you see going down the road.
Yes. So Anna Marie says, okay, we will chat next month when we are in your shop. Well, that's
Okay.
that's a good idea. We do like
Thanks,
the
Anna Marie.
professional stuff. I do.
I'll
like.
show you what to use. And if you go look at some of our Facebook stuff, you'll see different things that we put it on. And what's kind of nice is there's a bunch of different products that's out there that you buy one product and you can use it on several things on the RV. So that 303, like you're talking about for the body,
You can
put
use
that
it
on all your
seals, slide room seals,
compartment door seals, slide out seals, a lot of stuff. And even on the decals, I mean, looks great.
Yep. So this is kind of in that same area. He says the video dude in Atlanta is the spray on roof worth the cost for the lifetime warranty.
Well,
you use one brand and I mean there's a bunch of stuff out of there. So I think just to preface this, it really depends on the product. There are so many things that and I have seen this. I was in a gas station in high school and college, and I started in 1983 at Winnebago, and I have seen the highs and lows of the RV market. And every time the market is flying high, you see all these companies from all over the place are all of a sudden experts on the RV side because they did some houses here, and most of that stuff. The problem is you don't have enough longevity in that market to see how it really works. Sometimes it takes 8-10 years. Well, they're long gone by that time. So I know you use a product that you really like. Which one is that?
I'm sorry, the dogs are snoring at the
I was hoping that was a dog snoring, and
it's not me, I promise.
Wasn't your Fritos acting up?
Yeah. So it's like you're saying, the longevity of stuff, right? There's certain companies that have been out there for a long time, and I'll give you an example. We like to sell like the suspension kits from Roadmaster. They've been around for a long time. They're close. They're in Washington. They're 2 states away from us. Their product's a lifetime warranty, and I'd have no problem saying that's a lifetime warranty. I don't foresee them ever going out of business. Mm-hmm. But all these other companies and these sprays and these certain things, when they say lifetime warranty, I just kind of
who's lifetime,
right?
Yeah,
because most. I've been doing RV repair now for 25 years, and the lifetime warranty, you're not going to keep that RV for 25 or 30 years.
Yeah, that's no good after you sell it.
It's you're going to keep it for 3 to 5 years, maybe 10 if we're all lucky, and then it's just like buying a car. We're not going to go out and buy a car that's a lifetime warranted, and then 5-10 years down we're going to buy another one. So keep that in mind. I mean, sometimes you're paying more for something that says it's lifetime. Myself, we've tried like every type of roof coating, and I won't go too deep into the brands. We've tried them all, and every few years something better comes out. It's just progressive, like cell phones. Something better comes along. The one that we currently use is called Tundra. It's made by Cool Coat RV. It's made by Sherman-Williams. And so people will think, there'll be another Cool Coat out there that's for residential commercial applications, but the RV version is different than the residential version. So like GACO, same thing. And Cool Coat has a lifetime warranty, but again, how long are you going to have that? Mm-hmm. We were doing GACO, and the GACO warranty of like the residential ones was 50 years. But the RV one was 25 years. Mm-hmm.
Now we can't get it.
And now you can't even get it in California.
Yeah, and that's the big thing.
So we switched, but we actually like the Tundra better. Mm-hmm. But it's like I see the spray-on coatings. There was somebody that I had commented on a Facebook group post. They took the spray-on almost like a bed liner coating, And Dave, they sprayed the skylight completely over.
I saw that.
Right? They sprayed the plastic corner moldings on the rear of the coach that are going to flex and crack. They sprayed the insert moldings on the rail. They took off his this gentleman's attic vent and just filled it, sprayed over the top of it. So now he has no way of relieving anything.
Yeah.
And they told him, "Oh, you won't need that anymore."
Yeah.
You know, so it's just all these different people and different experts and stuff. You know, how many roofs have I physically resealed? Thousands.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I see the stuff and I go, man, it's like I feel like it's my grandpa got, you know, douched or gouged or whatever you want to call the slang, but I don't like it, you know, so don't.
Well, and your grandma got run over by a reindeer.
That's right.
So the first one, well, you know, and really the bottom line, I think in any of that stuff that all of a sudden jumps in and comes into the industry is that you need to trust the guys like you know,
we're seeing it every single
dealers.
day.
Well, and you've been in it for 20, 25 years, and you're not gonna carry a product that you know the guy's gonna come back in 6, 7 years. You know, a lot of these guys could care less. They're not even gonna be here.
Yeah.
So you look for the longevity.
If they hit something, then what? If they don't make that product anymore, then what?
Yeah.
You know, and then it's going to
look at the companies that have been in for the long haul because they want repeat business rather than these guys that are coming in and just, you know, gouging up, taking up whatever they can get when the market's high and then moving on. So anyway, with that, Chuck's put on our Oscar-winning music, and I don't have my Oscar with me now.
I'm finally at home.
You went and got your award. You got to give an acceptance speech. You know, what we were saying is that
thank you for all the trials and errors of
after
the
30
industry.
seconds, you have to get out. So anyway, I appreciate everybody coming out. We're at 7:00. We made it through. Next week we'll be back. You'll be in the shop. I'll be in my shop, barring any weather. That's why I'm out here early, because we got hit with that, what's going to be 12 inches of snow. So we thank everybody for coming out. Have a great rest of the week. Anybody around the Harrisburg area, doing seminars all week long, look for the Pennsylvania Super Show, and come down to the Farm Expo. Hopefully the cow smell will be gone by then. It was there this morning. So, but it's the smell of money. All right. Thanks a lot and have a great rest of the week.
Thank you, guys, so much for joining us on today's live stream. If you think today's content was helpful, let us know by hitting the like button or share it with a friend.
We'll be right back here next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We hope to see you then.